In the previous video, we had a look at vehicles driving down the wrong side of the road, be it intentionally or unintentionally. In this grouping of videos, we're having a look at vehicles traveling down the correct side of the road, but for a variety of reasons being redirected onto the wrong side of the road in the path of oncoming traffic. This first video has a look at one of those reasons, namely a tire blowout, especially if it happens to be one of the front or steering tires. Then there's a greater likelihood that a vehicle would land up on the wrong side of the road. Trucks are most vulnerable to tire blowouts, simply due to the fact that they carry much heavier loads, thus placing greater pressure on the tires. This is going to be a very short video because of the lack of content in finding real-life clips that actually show a truck traveling along, its tire blowing out and then being redirected onto the wrong side of the road. But we do have one real-life clip. Let's have a look at the animation to start off with. So here's a real-life clip depicting what we've just seen in the animation. Note the truck in the distance there. Blowout, and there it's redirected. Fortunately, the camera was able to avert the truck. Now, there could be a number of reasons as to why a tire blows out. In the case of trucks, we mentioned because of the greater pressures exerted on the tires, but also due to the fact that the tires for trucks being much larger are a lot more expensive to replace with new tires. So often the tires are retreaded, and because of that, they're more prone to tire failure. It could be due to the surface of the road. If there are a lot of potholes on a road, then be it a truck or just a normal car on the road, they would also be more exposed to a tire blowing out if it strikes a pothole. It could be an undulating surface where a vehicle now travels along an uneven road often, and so that puts a lot more wear onto the tires. So that could be one of the reasons. It could be an area that one's traveling in that's maybe a much poorer area, and so the vehicles in that area aren't as well maintained, and so the tires perhaps don't quite adhere to what the roadworthy standards are. So it could be for a variety of reasons, but the main point here is that as we're driving along, once again, never to just assume that things will be okay. Always expect the unexpected, and it could be a blowout where a vehicle now comes onto the wrong side of the road and directly in your path, and so you face a head-on collision situation unless you're alert and in expectation of things possibly going wrong. Because this is such a short video and I don't have a montage section to follow the instructional part of the video, I thought I'd quickly take the opportunity to direct you to the streetsurvival.info website. So many of you probably come across this video via YouTube, and so I want to encourage you to go to the website and follow this free online advanced driving course from the website. If you go to the About section, that'll give you a nice introduction as to what the course is about and the objective of the course. Also go to the tips page, and yeah, it gives you some practical advice on how to use the website. If you go to the subsection of website, also some really practical information on the pages within the website. Then I've got a section on YouTube itself, and this is also handy to go through because on the YouTube page, I'll highlight the YouTube features, and so that's interesting to have a look at what the various features are of YouTube, as well as keyboard shortcuts to use. So as you're going through the instructional videos, to use the various keyboard shortcuts on YouTube, and that makes it easier to navigate forwards and backwards, jump forwards 5 seconds or backwards 10 seconds, pause, play, go forward a second or a frame at a time, backwards a frame at a time. So very handy keyboard shortcuts that you can use there as well. But what I really want to get to is the dangers menu, because the dangers menu contains the heart of this instructional course. So as you have a look at the dangers menu, you'll find that I've divided it into different categories. So we've got lane and all the various subsections pertaining to lane, same with roads, intersections, and so on. So what I would recommend is that once you've been through the about and the tips section of the course, to give you a good idea as to how to get the most out of the course, then have a look at the dangers menu and the sub-menu items, because this, as I mentioned, really contains the heart of this course. And so when you go through them, you'll see that each video, in most cases, contains an animation. The animation highlights what the particular danger is that we'll be examining. Following the animation would be a real-life clip to demonstrate what's been depicted in the animation, and then following the real-life clip or clips, you'll find that there's a montage section. So the montage is a random collection of clips that show that exact danger just now repeated over and over again to impress upon our minds that particular danger. So as you go through each sub-menu item, you'll find that once you've been through the video right through to the end, and I encourage you to watch the videos right through to the end, because as you're watching these clips being repeated over and over, that will impress on your mind the specific danger that's being examined, so that by the time you get to the end of the video, you really have that danger or awareness of that danger well imprinted on your mind. And that helps you to better prepare when you're out on the roads to face such a situation, because your mind has already perceived that danger. It's been repeated over and over. So when it does suddenly arise, then it's not something new to you. Your mind has already pre-processed that information subconsciously, and you find that you can react and respond to these situations a lot quicker in real life as well. Enjoy the rest of the course. Please like, subscribe, and get notified.